Sports Carnival broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studio, powered by the Recovery Room. I'm Dave. This is Matt, the owner of the Recov, and hope you guys and gals are off to a great start. This morning, we have got so much to cover in just, well, I was going to say so little time. An hour is actually a pretty good amount of time, but it doesn't feel like it when you've got so many things to break down. Coming up this morning at 8:30, we'll have our good friend Matt Janus, UWL head football coach, joining the program once again. Matt was on an appointment last week, Matty, and, well, Matt 1 and Matt 2 will come up. And so we'll be looking forward to seeing him this morning at 8:30. How the fuck you doing, big guy?
I'm hanging in there, man. Top of the morning to everybody, our listeners and viewers. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure Matt will be pretty excited. We got a lot to talk about, like you said, a lot going on in the NFL, but I'm sure Matt will be pretty excited to talk about the Bears because they did a lot of damage. Or got their offseason started yesterday, I guess.
Yeah, the Bears are busy. A lot of teams are busy. One team that's not getting too busy, at least as of yet, is the New York Jets with a new quarterback reportedly in Aaron Rodgers. Framework of the deal is reportedly done 15 hours ago or so. We started to see a number of reports from Sports Illustrated and Yahoo and
Trey Wingo.
Oh yeah, just a whole bunch of different folks saying, hey, the deal is essentially done. Well, there is no deal done, at least not as of this morning. However, it feels like the Jets and the Packers could be getting close to something. I'm still not 100% sure that Aaron Rodgers doesn't tell everybody, you know, after a lot of consideration, deliberation, contemplation, dark rooms, I've got to take a year off.
Well, and I won't be
not retiring. Yeah. I'm just going to take a year off. I got to chill. I got to be at this High Times conference for psychedelics coming up. I mean,
in June. Yep, he's got some
bigger fish to fry.
He's got plans, you know, but none
bigger
of them
fish to fry.
Yeah, telling you know, the people that employ him or, you know, possible teammates what his plans are in the future. So, like we were talking off air, he just seems to enjoy having the world by the balls. So he's enjoying his time while he has it. Yeah,
I was going to say seems to. I think he relishes it. I don't think that's a seems to. You're not really picking up a thread that nobody else has picked up. This dude loves it. Well, he relishes it.
Can I throw this out there? Because I just kind of put something together, and I don't know if it's something with the Green Bay organization, and we didn't get it with Joe, but there's also another similarity that came about, not just with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but it was kind of the same way that the Packers pushed out Mike McCarthy. So there's kind of like a similarity between all three of them. If you kind of look at it, there was also
they fired Mike McCarthy mid-season,
but there was also shit going out. I think they wanted to fire him a couple seasons ago. It was like they were building up to try to push him out, type of thing.
Okay,
you get kind of what I'm laying down. There just seems to be like there's some animosity building up in this Packers organization towards some of the more high profile, obviously, players, and then at a coach. So there's just seems to be something in the water. Maybe I'm just making that connection. I'm trying to just connect the dots there, and maybe there's nothing there. But it just seems like a lot of high profile people at the Packers over the last decade or so, 2 decades, seem to get pushed out at the end, or they just want to get the fuck out, and then they want to get pushed out.
Well, McCarthy, I know, didn't want to get fired, and especially midseason. The Packers had never fired a coach midseason in the history of their team.
But they also he was doing like the reports of like the massages and then not being on the field, and there was just a lot of shit going on at the end of Mike McCarthy's tenure.
Well, that came out after. There was a lot of that stuff that came out after. I know that Mike McCarthy didn't want to get fired. I mean, hell, his wife and family were from the Green Bay area. He stayed in town, right, for that whole other year to sort of, what was that, get back to his play calling roots and figure out a playbook. That's a connection that I think you might be making. I don't see that. Rodgers isn't getting pushed out. There's no getting pushed out. This dude,
or he wants to get pushed out.
Well, okay, but this dude's been doing this to himself. Brett Favre, again, similar. I don't think the Packers wanted to push him out. It was just there was vacillation on the part of Favre. Was he going to retire? Was he not? And he kept going back and forth like, hey, guys, shucks, I'm out of here. And then he would go away. And the Packers had just drafted Ted Thompson's first ever draft. This kid named Aaron Rodgers, who they're like, is awesome. And I think that in that situation, yeah, I don't know. I don't see the connection. I hear what you're saying, but I don't see the connection. Not personally. Mike McCarthy was fired because the Packers were super underwhelming. They'd have Joe fucking Philbin come in and take over as interim coach for the remainder of that season. That was a disaster. And that was also the season in which, once it got concluded, remember, the Packers went and drafted Jordan Love. They went and traded up to get Jordan Love after that season because Rodgers didn't look good. McCarthy didn't look good. It just looked like it was the end of the line in many respects for those guys. And that's what we've talked about so many times with respect to Aaron Rodgers. That draft in which the Packers took Jordan Love, that inspired him in many ways to go out there and ball out, right? And get these 2 other MVPs. So he's a 4-time MVP. I said at the time, and
I think it also inspired this attitude.
It possibly did. The attitude, I think, was burgeoning. But yeah, this chip on the shoulder, which he's largely carried, right? Since he came into the league, being passed over by every team until 24
Right.
when the Packers got him, and he thought he was supposed to be the number one pick. I think that Rodgers, and I said this at the time, if the best thing the Packers got out of drafting Jordan Love was 2 MVP seasons and manipulating this guy, so to speak, into performing some of his best football on the field antics anyways of his career, I thought it was a worthwhile draft pick. Now, guys like Joe DeGuano said that's not why you draft somebody, and I sort of agree with that. But the Jordan Love pick, again, coming off the heels of that Mike McCarthy firing and the Rodgers poor season, sort of pushed Rodgers in that direction. And that's what really, I think, guys and gals, has led us right here. It's interesting. Jeff Zelke's checking in, and he asks, he wonders if Rodgers will ever wonder what could have been if he wasn't so damn greedy. Some people are house poor. The Packers are QB poor. Well, I think that Rodgers, if he were going to be really self-reflective, would look at the fact that he could have had a lot more success with Green Bay. But I don't think that he'll look at that and really put the dots together with this contract. Players don't think of it like that in many cases, like Brady did.
Yeah, unless Tom Brady. That's exactly what it is. Unless you're Tom Brady.
Right. And that's why he is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, who's gone to 10 Super Bowls and won 7. There aren't many people that feel that way. And I can't be in a glass house here when I talk about that kind of shit, because if you're telling me that you're going to give me $60 million or $40 million, $40 million, I have a shot to win a Super Bowl. $60 million, I probably have a shot, but less of a shot. Dude, I'm taking 60 personally.
Of course you would. I mean, that's what you get paid to do. You're taking care of your own. You're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
I guess at the same time, when you've already played for so long, and hopefully you have so much money that you might be, or you have, other endorsements like Tom Brady did, TB12, et cetera, all those other things. You want to go after championships if you got paid. And that's where there's a certain point.
As fans, we want that.
Yes, as fans. And I guess this also goes back to me and where we brought up Aaron Rodgers, where he just wanted to be, he was talking more about MVPs during the season than championship rings. So to me, that kind of shows the person that he is with what he said on that side, where I would be more concentrated on getting my team to the Super Bowl and getting a Super Bowl MVP instead of a personal MVP that just shows you, but that's obviously a team sport.
So my accountant, who I've got to return a phone call to, he called me on Sunday. I was working at the Recov, and Jeff, sorry, a busy day yesterday. Went down to the Dells, had a lot of travels. Is checking in here and says this: don't blame Rodgers for taking the money. Blame the organization for offering it. And that's sort of my point. As a player, and guys, look, not that I've worked in the NFL, but I've worked in high-level pro sports. These are professional athletes, meaning this is their job. Like this is their job. And if you're a construction worker, if you're an attorney, if you're anybody, a doctor, you want the organization as a whole to be better because that makes you better. It elevates you, right? You do. But at the end of the day, to use Joe DeGuano line, your one responsibility is to your family. And this is where I go into a space where I don't count other people's money. I can never tell you what enough is. Yeah, what enough is enough. Yeah. And if the organization, like Jeff said, is going to give you 60, like, to turn it down feels like obtuse. That's like,
well, I guess
what you go into that for.
We're actually talking about 2 unicorns right here that have played in the league for 18 plus years.
Right.
The average existence in the NFL is like 3.5 years. So we're talking about Tom Brady played 20 plus years. Yes. Rodgers is at 18. So this doesn't happen very often. So,
yeah, we're looking at a couple of scenarios that don't present themselves on a very regular basis, to be sure. Yeah,
it just doesn't happen. I'm never going to yell at anybody to take their own scratch. You get out there, you earn, you take it, you take what they give you. 100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can't blame them for taking the money. At the same time, as a fan, to peel back the layers of that onion, do you want them to take less so they win? Yeah, absolutely. As a fan, that's absolutely what you want.
Better all-around team is what you all want, because
as a fan,
as a fan, we end up just rooting for the team, because in the NFL, players change so often. You have to be pot committed to a team, in my opinion, where this is why our Packer fans are fanatics about the Packers. They're not fanatics about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you can't be in any sport, right? I mean, I've been a Laker fan since I was born. That was 40 years ago. Yep. Magic and Kareem ain't coming back through that door.
Same with me and everything on the north side of Chicago. So in north side of Chicago has been really bad for all 4 sports for quite a
come
while.
on. You guys had
2016, and we had the Blackhawks. But other than that, and the Cubs in 2016, the
Look
Blackhawks.
At this guy crying poor. They got the Bulls with 6 chips, the Cubbies,
it's been
the
a long time,
Blackhawks.
my friend.
Yeah. What can I say? The Recovery Room on 7th and Mississippi Street is not only my favorite bar in all of downtown La Crosse, Wisconsin, it's my favorite restaurant in all of downtown La Crosse, Wisconsin. Breakfast served 8 to noon, Saturday and Sundays, daily specials, incredible cocktails, and the best damn wait staff in the entire city. My buddy Matt knows how to treat you right, and that's why when you go to the recovery room on 7th and Mississippi, you're always going to have a great time and a great meal with a great cocktail. So if you haven't been in a while, or perhaps you're just regular and you want to stop in again, make it a thing. I'm there every single week. How about you?
Hi, I'm Irene, and I care about you. That's why I started Care Packages by Irene, or CPBI. At CPBI, we have a wide range of care packages, from I care about you but don't get too clingy, to I'm completely obsessed with you and you should probably get a restraining order, and everything in between. Because it's CPBI, if you care, we care.
Visit us online at carepackagesbyirene.org.
Sports Carnival broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studio, powered by the Recovery Room, wants to remind you guys and gals that you've only got a little bit of time to get yourself down to the Recov. Fill out your March Madness bracket, just $10, and get yourself into the throws for all the madness that is March. Last night at the Recov, Maddie, we had our every Monday bingo night. Really nice crowd last night. Matty Ice came, won a couple of different times, filled out his bracket. As a matter of fact, Matty Ice won 2 bingo cards on the same game.
Very nice.
Filled out the F for Foreman. We created a new bingo for Foreman.
How painful was it for you to take that $10 out of your pocket?
For the Badger bet?
Yeah.
It was pretty painful.
Yeah.
I bought one of his brackets, actually.
That's what I would have thought would have been the fair trade, to be honest with you. So that's the way I would have gone.
Bought one of his brackets. Stop on down. EJ from Turtle Stack stopped down yesterday as well, filled out his bracket. So be amongst the cool kid crowd and come to the Recov. Fill out your bracket. Open today at 11. I'm not sure what the boys have on special for today. I know they were working up something really good. Last night they had a barbecue chicken burger on special. The kitchen staff at the Recov always coming up with something really creative, really delicious for your daily specials. I'll be interested to see what they have today.
Yep,
11 o'clock
Tuesdays
back open.
Is one of the days that we really don't pigeonhole us for certain things. Wednesdays wings, Thursdays Euros, Friday prime. So yeah, Tuesdays is a day for the guys to kind of get a little crazy back there.
Well, they can spread their wings.
Yep.
Right, Matt? They can spread their wings, really let their creativity unfurl. And yeah, those guys have a lot of creativity. We've got a couple of poll questions for our audience members here, Matt, this morning on our Twitter feed at the Sports Carney, getting a ton of votes. We're near 90 votes right now. Put this thing up about an hour ago. And we've got our same poll question. Sometimes we'll go 2 different directions, but we've got our same poll question for you on the Facebook group page as well. The question is this: if/when, because that feels like it's going to be the scenario that unfolds. If/when the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers, who will be the favorite in the AFC East? The Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, or the Patriots? Our Twitter feed right now has a very close a couple of results here. The Bills are 43.8% of the vote right now. The Jets at 41.6%. Dolphins 12.4%. Patriots getting no love at just 2.2%. Looking at our Facebook group page, quite different. 76% of respondents, Matt, have the Bills. 7% for the Jets. 16% for the Dolphins. Again, Patriots getting no love. Just 1% of the vote there.
I'm with the Bills. I chose the Bills, to be honest with you. They just opened up $30 million in cap space by restructuring deal with Allen and Von Miller. I'm still stuck on how Aaron Rodgers will gel with the Jets once he gets there. So that's why I'm going to go with the Bills, because not only do they have Allen, they have a hell of a defense, but they are also looking to probably keep Stephon Diggs. I know he's a little frustrated with what's going on there because they haven't surrounded him with a lot more, counterparts to help out. Not Jared Allen. Why can't I? What is his quarterback?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Thank you. Trying to surround him with some, better weapons, but with what they're doing in Buffalo and the sustainability that they've done, I would still take the Buffalo Bills over the Jets.
Yeah, I would too. I don't have any reason to take the Bills off of that just yet. The thing about this Aaron Rodgers to the Jets situation, which I just can't wrap my mind around, and perhaps you guys will help me out and give me something to chew on here. What I can't wrap my mind around is this. So you're telling me that Rodgers, who has been in the same building, Green Bay, for his entire career, you're telling me that Rodgers, who didn't make the postseason last year, couldn't beat the Lions in week 18.
Yep.
Okay. Year before that, scores 8 points against the 49ers. Year before that, shits the bed at home against Tom Brady's old ass and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right. So all of a sudden, and by the way, the Jets come to Lambeau Field and crush the motherfuckers 27-10. Aaron Rodgers looked like an old man,
and that defense
by that Jets defense.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So all that said, Jets have a great defense, swell. What about those three things that I talked about? Aaron not being able to produce, Aaron getting smoked by the Jets, Aaron getting bounced in the playoffs. What about those three things indicates to you, if you're a Jets fan or you're the Jets, that's the guy. This is the guy that's going to take us to any place. Aaron is getting old. He's over. This thing is washed. And I'm not saying he can't play football at all. I'm not saying that. But there is nothing to see in the recent history of Rodgers outside of some statistical greatnesses with really weak division opponents and some really favorable schedules here, guys and gals. There's nothing to tell me that Aaron Rodgers can take anybody fucking anywhere. He hasn't won anything since 2010. Nothing. He has won a couple of MVPs. He has won nothing. I don't have the list of quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls since 2010. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not Rodgers. So I just don't get the idea. This guy gives us the best chance to win a Super Bowl. Show me how. He hasn't been to a conference championship except for once in the last how many years, and he lost that in embarrassing fashion at home. Well, what about this shows you that he's the guy to get you anywhere? If you're the Jets, why do you think he makes you the favorite? Why?
I'm with you on this. And what's the most common thing that you brought up in the last 3 years? It's been the or lack thereof off-season workouts with showing up and trying to gel with the players. Now the Packers have gone younger. They've moved on from some of his friends, his best friends, but that's the NFL. It's a business. I understand why Aaron might be pissed off about that, but going forward, are you going to show up for the Jets if that's where you go in the offseason too and start to gel? Or if you decide to stay and play for the Packers, are you going to show up in the offseason and still be this asshole that just thinks you're better than everybody else out there? That's Austin Clark checking in with us today, brother.
Yeah. Austin, how'd the game go? Really good, by the way. Matt had about 17 of these.
Tasted like it.
Yeah, I had quite a few too. Yep. It went well. As a matter of fact.
Can I have one of those while we're at it?
You may.
Thank you.
You may.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I had to take a little nap, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good gummy day. I'm happy we're not doing it 2 days in a row. We just need a little break so we can concentrate on some other stuff. And I think we sent Aaron Rodgers a million times today already. So we
have
screwed.
But it's good that we brought this back up. Stacks Family Farms, proud producers of Wisconsin high quality THC and hemp products. Find it at your local bar, like the Recovery Room, where we have them in 2- and 5-pack versions. Very, very good.
Rodgers.
Well, listen, just going back to the Rodgers take about him making the Jets a contender, making the Jets the favorite.
Which team is going to be more pissed off, the Jets or the Packers?
About what?
So if he goes to the Jets or the Packers fans, it seems like the Packer fans are going to be happy. And if the Jets don't get him, you know what I mean? It's like, which franchise? There's 2 franchises, almost historic franchises in the NFL for the most part. But the Jets, they just haven't.
The Jets are a non-historic franchise.
They've just been around forever.
No, they haven't. They were in the AFC, AFL. They haven't been around 70s. Forever.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying? It's not like they're the Carolina.
It's not the Giants, dude.
No, but they're not the Carolina Panthers. They're not Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not the Houston Texans. It's a team that has been around for a while. Joe Namath. Okay, so I mean, they've been around for a while.
Okay,
2 hardcore franchises that have the fanatics of all. I mean, it's New York, the Jets. Oh my God, the fan base is crazy. The Packer fan.
You think the Jets fan base and the Packer fan base are even comparable?
I think the Jets fan base. I think they're bigger. I think they're bigger assholes. Come on,
dude. I don't even know anybody that wants to say they're a Jets fan. I really don't, personally.
Well, I don't either because we don't live out there.
But that's what I mean. I know plenty of people that live here that are Raider fans. Tim's one. I know people out here that are Bear fans. Plenty of those. Viking fans, tons. Cowboy fans, shit. Malik's a Cowboys fan. I've never seen anybody walk into any place in lacrosse and be like, I'm a Jets fan. Patriot fans, shit. I worked with Brian Simpson. That guy's as big of a Patriots fan. I don't know any Jets fans. I know Mike Greenberg on ESPN is a Jets fan. Like, I know people that I suppose live in like Cherry Hill, New Jersey, that are Jets fans.
Or
maybe
South Florida.
Yeah, sure. That used to live there.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go to Boomstick. Eric from La Crescent here this morning saying, top of the morning, fellas, double shot of gummies. Yeah, that's basically what we've been doing. A-Rod, you beat. I don't know exactly.
You bet. Maybe. I'm not
Maybe.
sure.
All right. Well, A-Rod, you beat. A-Rod, you bet. And double shot of gummies. I'm okay with it. That kind of rhymed. So that was fun.
Do you honestly think Alan Lazard going to the Jets might make a difference for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, this is something that we want to bring up. So this morning, as we've been kind of, skirting around the NFL free agency, Alan Lazard is reportedly getting close to a deal with the New York Jets. However, there is another team involved. So Alan Lazard, free agent, wide receiver with the Green Bay Packers, right? Aaron Rodgers, at least one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets from this last season. Somebody who I don't think is much more than a number 3 to a 4 receiver. I mean,
he's familiar with Hackett too. That's about it.
yeah, but I don't think that Allen Lazard, listen, he doesn't change a point spread. No, that's for sure. If he goes to the Jets, does he ostensibly give Aaron Rodgers some sort of comfort? Yeah, there's that. It's somebody that Aaron knows if he goes into that building. I again, don't think that Aaron Rodgers worries or thinks anything about that. I really don't. The comfortability that Rodgers wants, or the thing that Rodgers wants out of these movements, if in fact Lazard signs with the Jets and that precedes Aaron getting traded to the Jets, Aaron wants control. He wants leverage. When he came back to the Packers with his list of demands and started talking about in his board shorts and big sunglasses, all the players that he was making better, that he would have made better, the Jordy Nelsons of the world, the Clay Matthews of the world, and how the Packers could have dared let them go under his watch. Okay. He wants control. And this thing with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets is getting to a point of almost cartoonishness because the Jets are putting themselves in just like the most desperate of situation. So we saw yesterday another one of the big quarterback dominoes fall. Jimmy Garoppolo signs with the Raiders. And this is a deal that essentially the Raiders can get out of after this upcoming season. Yep. They give Jimmy G a 3-year deal, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter. Now, the $67.5 million averages out to about 22 point something right a year, or in that range. So that's the market rate for Jimmy Garoppolo. This would have been the Jets' next up if, in fact, Aaron Rodgers wasn't available for him. This would have been the guy they would have loved to have seen as a bridge quarterback because, again, the Jets know they've got Zach Wilson at, the number 2 former pick. They're trying to develop. If he doesn't pan, fine, but you don't want to wash your hands of that guy just yet because you've invested so much. So either Rodgers or Garoppolo or somebody like that looks like, hey, a good bridge quarterback option. Well, that option's off the table now for New York. So Garoppolo's gone. He goes to the Raiders, reunites with Josh McDaniels, and puts the Jets again in this really desperate situation. So if I'm not 100% confident, if I'm the Jets this morning, I'm Joe Douglas, their GM. If I'm not 100% confident that I get Aaron Rodgers to commit to me today, and that's going to come with all of like what you've mentioned, a bunch of the prerequisites. We get to rework your contract. We get to have you in here for the offseason. If I don't get that from Rodgers today, I'm going to Lamar Jackson. And I'm going to say, look, here's the contract. We'll give you a fully guaranteed, 4-year deal. Let's go. You give up 2 first-round picks. That's what you'd give up for Lamar. That's the compensation to the Ravens. You see if they match it, which it doesn't seem like they want to. And if they do, well, then you're doubly fucked. The Jets are in a really bad spot, and Rodgers has put them in a really unenviable position by making this sort of go longer and longer than it probably had to.
Well, and with them flying out there and doing the whole show, dog and pony show and everything else, they showed how committed they are.
They showed how desperate they are.
That too. I mean, otherwise, we talked about their other options are going to be Jacoby Brissett, maybe Teddy Bridgewater, trade up in the draft.
Baker Mayfield,
trade up in the draft if you can. Otherwise, your season's shot. To be honest with you, for as good as their defense was, they might as well go back with the Alex or the kid they drafted last year, who was just horrible. But if Nathaniel Hackett can't turn that kid's career around, then it's another wasted season for the Jets. And it's just sad to see because they're being held. And I love watching good football, I guess is where I'm coming to say I'm not a Jets fan. I just like watching good football. And if Jacoby Brissett is your starting quarterback, that's not going to be good football.
Oh, yeah. Jacoby Brissett's not going to be anybody's starting quarterback, not unless he absolutely has to be.
That's my point.
Jeff Zelke checking back in with us here on YouTube and says since 2011, the median cap percentage for a QB reaching the Super Bowl is 8.97%. This is true. The median cap percentage for a QB to win the Super Bowl is 10%. He's like 25%.
I can kind of see. I think it would be maybe a little bit higher to like 12 to 15%. I guess.
No, this is real.
Oh,
this is a number.
I didn't think 25. I thought 25 was a little too high, I guess is where I was going with. No, his 25. I thought the average winning would have been like a 12 to 14%.
No, it's 8.97 to get and 10% to win.
That's okay.
So that's been kind of the average. Now, the fly in the ointment here has been Patrick Mahomes. His contract isn't at the 25% mark, but he was one of those guys that had the over 18% cap hit. Yeah, and that actually got to win a Super Bowl.
His deal will be outdated within a year anyways, too, probably with the way the NFL's going with quarterbacks.
Well, his deal is such that they can keep reworking that thing. Remember, he signed that 10-year, $400 million contract, but they can keep reworking that. Jason P1 Breacher checking in this morning and says the Jets are like that crackhead in Menace to Society. They'll do anything to get A-Rod. Exactly. Come on, baby. Come on, Aaron. I'll suck your dick, baby. Come on, get to New York. That's exactly what you were talking about. That was Pookie, I think. Or was that in New Jack City? I think you're talking about New Jack City. And I'm trying to remember exactly what the crackhead was in Menace to Society or New Jack City. And wasn't Chris Rock the guy in New Jack City that was like, come on, baby?
I believe so.
Oh, man, I suck your dick. I think that was Chris Rock.
I will look
I
that
really
up
do. All right. Well, Eric from La Crescent, as I kind of want to transition here real quick, Eric from La Crescent was bringing up something, and he was talking about Aaron Rodgers and says he goes to the beat of his own tune, to the beat of his own drum. So that was the beat of the A-Rod. Okay. Well, he says the Bucs, though, going away from that old Aaron Rodgers situation, the Bucs, though, they're rolling, and Janus is the man, and he's absolutely right. So Janus makes his return last night to the Bucs lineup, 46 points, 12 rebounds. Janus had been out for 3 games, dealing with the hand issue. Bucs beat the Kings last night, 133 to 124. Middleton had a monster game, 31 points, really starting to knock that rust off. Brook Lopez had 23. And at the end of the game, Brook Lopez nearly got into a fight.
It got chippy.
It got real chippy. And look, Sacramento is a good team. They're the number 3 team in the Western Conference right now. The Bucs going out west are on a bit of a West Coast swing. Had a real fight on their hands. And a couple of gals came in last night at the end of bingo just to watch this Bucs game. I was pretty impressed because it was a West Coast tilt. So you could tell they were dedicated to the team and wanting to go out there and see it. A little concerned at a certain point in the game that the Bucs were going to lose. I was like, don't worry, man. The Bucs are going to get real serious in the second half and in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what they did. But the Kings are a real team. The Kings are one of these teams, and I can't remember if it was Nash. It was Nash who tried to make an analogy to the Kings and the Wisconsin Badgers. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, well, look, the Badgers just have a bunch of role players, and so do the Kings. And I said, dude, the Kings have what they believe, and maybe that's true, Nash, but the Kings have what they believe are some superstars in the making. Domantas Sabonis, so Arvydas Sabonis' son, who played for the Pacers, got traded to the Kings in that deal for Tyrese Halliburton, Wisconsin native, had 23 points, 17 rebounds, 15 assists, his 10th triple-double of the season. Sabonis has a franchise record already in the season, 54 double-doubles. 54 games, he has had at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, or 10 points, 10 assists, or 10 rebounds, 10 assists, some combination of 10s at least. That leads the NBA. So Domantas Sabonis is not just a role player. This is an all-star. And Nash said, well, he'll give you a 10-point triple-double. No, buddy. Domantas Sabonis is coming. And De'Aaron Fox, who played his 1 season of college basketball at Kentucky, a real miss there for the Los Angeles Lakers. De'Aaron Fox like just annihilated Lonzo Ball in the tournament that year. Lonzo gets drafted by the Lakers number 2. De'Aaron Fox goes 5 to the Kings. This King team, listen, hasn't had sustained success. As a matter of fact, their 40 wins are the most since 2005. Okay, so this team hasn't been good for nearly 2 decades. But they're coming. And so the game for the Bucs last night, and I could understand why these young ladies were at least tangentially nervous. This game for the Bucs last night wasn't a give me, right? The Kings are a team that will be there in the mix in this upcoming postseason. And that's why I just love watching this Bucs team operate so much. And Eric from La Crescent, you're absolutely right. Janus is a beast. 46-12, hit 2 3-pointers, was 2 for 2 from downtown. Just so efficient. This Bucs team right now is starting to get some separation as well in the Eastern Conference. Boston lost last night, 111-109 to Houston. Okay, Houston's like the worst team in the NBA, possibly up there with Detroit and San Antonio. All right, so the Rockets get the best of the Celtics, 111-109. Now the Bucs, with this win last night, are 2.5 games ahead of Boston, 3.5 games, if not 4.5 games, I have to check again, ahead of Philadelphia. So this game for the Bucs last night, again, not one that I felt extremely nervous about, but I could understand why these Bucs fans that came into the bar were a little bit nervous. Wasn't a give me, but it was a game I thought they could get, and they did. Coming up tonight, the Bucs are back in action. If you want to watch the game, if you don't get the Bally Sports Network on your cable package, come on out to the Recov. 9 o'clock tonight will be the tip-off against the Phoenix Suns. Now, Phoenix will be playing without KD, who injured his ankle in a layup line. That's how injury-prone this dude is. But the Suns are still a tough team, and they've been playing some really hot basketball. So if you've got no plans, come on out, Recov tonight, 9 o'clock. Watch the Bucs take on the Phoenix Suns. We're going to step aside. When we come back in about 40 seconds, UWL head football coach Matt Janus, big Bear fan, is going to be joining the show. We'll talk about the Bears trading that number 1 pick, something that we kind of thought would happen. And now we'll see what Matt thinks they'll do with the number 9 pick. Will they stay put? Will they move? Matt's also got a question. T-minus how many days until the Eagles are in Italy for their big trip? Stick around.
Now more than ever, if you're looking to buy or sell your first home or perhaps an investment property, you need a full-time dedicated real estate agent who is up to date on all the latest trends and analysis and is ready to give you the kind of service that you deserve. That's why the official real estate agent and the official real estate partner of the Sports Carnival is Kyle Cable of One Trust Real Estate. Whether you're looking to buy or sell your first home or perhaps you are a seasoned investor, call the official real estate agent partner of the Sports Carnival, Kyle Cable of One Trust Real Estate.
Oh, Kyle Cable, you are my real estate agent. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home, if you have got some investments in real estate that you're looking to get off the ground, you're going to need to check out Kyle Cable, One Trust Real Estate. Matt yesterday went down to the Wisconsin Dells, met with a photographer that Kyle actually had set up for me. We are going to be listing our condo down in the Dells, and thanks to Kyle for all his help. Again, looking to buy or sell, invest in real estate. Kyle Cable, former Eagles football player, the Swiss Army knife of both Mike Schmidt and Matt Janus, is our official real estate partner. Glad to have him. Coach Janus, top of the morning, man. Good to see you today. How have you been? It feels like it's been 6 years since we've talked. It's only been a couple of weeks.
What's shaking you guys? I've been good. Yeah, it feels like it's been forever. I had a dentist appointment. You know how those things go. If you miss that appointment, you're not in for like another 6 months. So
Exactly.
I apologize.
Well, your smile looks great, brilliant, beautiful. I like the goatee that's developing here. You look sharp. Couple of weeks back, we had you on. We were talking about the Eagles' trip over to Italy. As a matter of fact, I put together a little Sports Carnival snippet in which we openly pondered the question, who was better looking, the coaching staff of the Eagles or the players? This thing's kind of reached a tie in certain spaces. I get people on social media saying it's obviously the coaches, and then most of those are your wives and children. And then I get a whole bunch of young people saying it's obviously the players. So let's talk Italy real quick. Matt from Recov was asking me earlier, I couldn't remember exactly what we were at as far as the timeline. How soon is it until you guys leave for Italy?
Oh, let's see. We're going on the 22nd. So we're leaving. We got the groups kind of, so we have like a massive travel party. I think we're like up to like 135 or something. So we got like half our group flying out of Minneapolis, and then the other half is flying out of Chicago. And so we'll kind of get there essentially at the same time. So it'll be kind of nice. And so the 22nd is when we're going to leave. And then it's kind of jacked up because we're going to then get there on the 23rd. So we'll kind of like fly overnight and get there nice and early.
What
on
month,
the 23rd.
Coach?
May.
What
Sorry. I didn't say the month, did I? Yeah. For you guys.
I was like, wow, are you telling me?
Yeah,
a
week.
Okay, a week. I was telling Matt, I thought it was May. I was just going through this morning, and I thought it was May. I just couldn't remember exactly what that day was. So, all right, so May the 23rd, and then the length of the trip is going to be how long?
So we're going to get back then May, what do we get back? Right before Memorial Day, May 30th, we'll get back. Or we'll kind of take off on the 30th, and then I think we gain the travel. We actually gain some time back, but so it'll be fast, but it'll be awesome. And we start in practice. We start our additional Europe practices the first week of May. So our kids essentially are in practice from April 2nd all the way to like the 30th of May. So it's just huge from that standpoint. I mean, I look at by the time we play our first game next year, this group will probably have like 50 plus practices under its belt.
Wow.
And potentially looking at now 2 games because we might play 2 games in Italy now. So it's going to be absolutely huge for us.
Well, this is something that I'm just so excited to see unfold on the social media sites. Again, follow the Eagles across social media. They do a really, really good job of keeping everybody excited about the game, excited about the team. And it feels like now more than ever, that social media game just seems to keep on growing and growing and growing by the day, the week, the month. So I'm stoked to see how this all looks. Let me go to something that I know interests both of the Matts that we've got on the show this morning, the Chicago Bears. Your favorite team, both of your favorite teams, trading back from that number 1 spot for right now anyways to Carolina's number 9 pick, getting wide receiver DJ Moore, which was a big need, I think, in the offseason the Bears wanted to address. They get 2 picks in the first round, 1 this year at 9, 1 next year, 2 picks in the second round, the 61st this year, and then they get a pick next year. first, let me ask you, Matt, Janus, how did you feel about that trade? And then I'd like to go on to this trajectory. What do you think they do next? Do they stay put, or do they take that 9 pick? And if so, who do they take?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the big thing for me, like I think every Bears fan was hoping that they were going to trade it, and obviously gather the picks, and they don't make a huge splash with getting number ones back, right? So they only get one number one back with it. Now they get some other ones, like you said, the round 2, and so they only get the one first rounder back with it, obviously flopping with Carolina and then getting next year's pick. But I mean, the deal and the whole thing is DJ Moore. That's what I think. I mean, that's the biggest splash, and that's really probably why they ended up doing it. It was because you get DJ Moore, his contract's already figured out, the guaranteed money's already been handed, or the signing bonus has already been handed out by Carolina. So it's a great addition for the Bears. And now you look at the receiving core, and is there a true number one in that receiving core? No. But I think DJ Moore is a really good player. I think Mooney's a really good player. I think Claypool's decent enough, average, right? And so, you've given now Justin Fields, and with Kmet, the tight end, you've given him some weapons around him now, right? And you've addressed that. So now you don't have to dip into the draft. You don't have to dip into free agency for the wide receiver position, right? You should be done with that. And now they can attack this draft and with their draft picks. And now they got to continuously, and obviously the signing of Nate Davis from the Titans, the other day or yesterday was huge start to fixing the offensive line. But this is a team that needs some defensive alignment, right? And so they signed who did they sign yesterday? Walker. Yesterday they signed him.
Edwards, linebacker.
And they signed some linebackers. This is a team now that needs some defensive alignment, and they got to continue to address their offensive line. So I look at this draft right now where they're sitting at 9, and I think the question is, if they trade up or not, is Jalen Carter going to still be there? Right, that's going to be the kicker, because I think that's a guy. Will Anderson, I think from Alabama, I think he'll be gone. Right, the Cardinals just lost Zach Allen, so I think the Cardinals probably going to take him. But the question is obviously, in Jalen Carter, nobody knows, because he's kind of involved in this case with the unfortunate incident of his teammate that passed away in that car crash, and he's kind of involved there. So I think Jalen Carter is slipping a little bit. So it's going to be, the question is, are the Bears going to feel that somebody might take him, right? And if they do, if somebody does take Jalen Carter, will they go after the next best tackle and the guy from what's his name, Paris Johnson from Ohio State, because he's the next best tackle, right? So I think you have to address early in that 9 pick, or if you move up, you have to continuously address the offense and defensive lines of this football team.
Well, and I agree with you, Coach, because I think looking at what as I watch the combine, it's very heavy on the defensive side of the ball, especially on the line and in the linebackers. I was happy to see that the Bears picked up TJ Edwards, Wisconsin product, and then they got Edmonds, a kid from the Bills. So the one thing that I like what the Bears are doing with the free agency is they're going after kids that are coming into their prime, which is something that they can do with all the money that they have. The one thing that I do see with Carter and what the Bears going forward, because I can honestly see 3 or 4 quarterbacks going the first 5 to 6 picks. So I could see Carter actually dropping down to the Bears as well, especially with his legal issues, whether or not he's going to turn into a good human being. And all this is just some crap that he did when he was a kid and he has to mature. Obviously he's an adult right now, but moving up there, I think this kind of goes into the Bears' hands. I would have given the Bears more of an A- than an A+, just me personally, because I just kind of wish Poles would have maybe waited another week or 2 just to see how this would all played out. But overall, I think he did a great job getting an A, in my opinion, an A-. So the Bears are doing a lot of things going forward. It's fun to watching this free agency. They're moving forward. So it's going to be a fun couple of weeks. That's for sure.
What do you think about Edmonds? This is the only one I'm kind of lukewarm on, because of the amount of money that you poured into a linebacker, which they traded Smith because they didn't want to pay him. Now he's not getting as much money as Smith is, right, from the Ravens. But this is the only one I'm kind of lukewarm on. Like, I like the TJ Edwards, good deal. But I also look at the league and I'm like, at linebacker, it's not a marquee position all that much, right? Like this is a team like that. I mean, geez, the Bears safeties led them in sacks last year, right? Right? That's an issue, right? And so I'm a little sour they didn't go after Hargrove or Allen, or weren't able to kind of figure stuff that way. But I'm just a little lukewarm on the Edmonds deal right now. He's a good player, no doubt. He's a phenomenal player. Little lukewarm on that.
I'm with you on that too. I guess coverage as a coverage linebacker, he kind of came into his own last year, but otherwise he's been a liability. He's obviously getting paid, I think, 70 some million over 4 years. I believe it actually turns into a possibility of just a 2-year contract, so they might be able to get out of it that way. I'm just hoping that the kid comes in and balls out. He can obviously stop the run, but whether or not he'll be able to cover out of the backfield or even on a slot wide receiver, that'll remain to be seen. But yeah, they gave out a shit ton of money. I think it's the highest contract for a linebacker so far.
Yeah, that's what kind of worries me a little bit at that position, because I just don't think I don't think you invest into linebackers all that much in the NFL. I think it's more of a defensive line and maybe a corners, right, and maybe some like even going into the nickel where you can put a guy on a guy, right? You can lock a corner up and say, okay, that guy's taken care of because we put our money into that guy. That receiver's taken out of the game. We just got to worry about defending the other one or something like that. I think it's a little limited with linebackers in the NFL.
It's a matter of trusting Eberflus, I guess, Dave, is where I was going to go with that.
We'll that's exactly right.
Well, I think the Bears are going to have a lot more to be there. There's going to be a lot more to talk about with respect to the Chicago Bears over the next couple of weeks and into the next, 2 weeks and into the next 2 months, I should say, before the draft, because I don't think they're done yet. I'm not entirely sure they stay pat at 9. I think they've still got $75 million in money to spend this upcoming free agent period. So I think the Bears are going to be in a lot of our news wheels. But let me change gears just a bit here, fellas. You mentioned cornerbacks and how much they can impact. And you're right, cornerbacks, defensive linemen, edge rushers right now, as far as the defense is concerned, probably the top positions, and at least they're getting paid the top money. Jalen Ramsey just gets traded from the Rams to the Miami Dolphins. The AFC East now is becoming a really, really interesting division. The idea that Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets is one that still percolates. It feels like that's going to happen. But now you've got Jalen Ramsey. And if this was a chess move by the Miami Dolphins, well played. You've got Jalen Ramsey with the Dolphins, AFC East opponent. The Bills and their defense, a little soft last year. We know the Bills like a good defense, but they haven't been great in the last couple of years. But Bill Belichick's Patriots team always plays good defense. If Aaron Rodgers does get this trade completed with the Jets, who do you think is the favorite in that AFC East division now? Because Miami was really good up until a point last year. And then the Tua injuries, they fell off. Now they add Jalen Ramsey. The Patriots weren't bad. We know the Bills were great. Damar Hamlin's injury, I think, really upset that whole team's chemistry. But then you've got the Jets. So if Rodgers goes there, who do you think is the favorite? Do the Jets automatically become the favorite in that division?
Man, that's tough. Because, with Miami, right, they got to figure out what to do with Xavier Howard, because you can't pay 2 corners that much money, right? You can't. You can pay one, but you can't pay both. So they got to figure out what to do with Xavier Howard. Miami, I still am not a Tua believer. And obviously I know there's a multitude of injuries, and they go and sign who they signed, Mike White, right? Yeah. As kind of their backup. I was kind of surprised they didn't go after one of these quarterbacks. I really was. I was surprised they didn't go after Carr or Garoppolo, just to try to improve that position and kind of move on from Tua, especially with his health history with that. So I'm really not sold. I think there's some good pieces around on the Dolphins team, but I'm not sold on the Dolphins at all. I look at the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots still have a ton of money. I'm not sure they're going to spend it this year. If they're waiting until next year, I think the Patriots will just kind of be the way they are. The Bills, anything with Josh Allen, you think they're in pretty good shape, but the Bills they're finding out what it's like to pay a quarterback a lot of money right now, right? I mean, they're starting to lose defensive pieces. There's the other safety's a free agent, so I'm a little worried about what the makeup of this Bills team is going to be, right? And when the kind of the dust settles with free agency, and like I said, they're feeling the effects of having to pay a quarterback a lot of money. And so, yeah, I think without a doubt, if Aaron goes there, and I don't even know if it's if anymore. I think it's just when, right? Like, isn't this all just coming down to fixing the contract, and the Jets are trying to work their end, and they're trying to figure out what the compensation is. If Rodgers plays 1 year, it's only 1 draft pick. If he plays 2 years, isn't that all this is about right now at this point, is trying to figure out what that compensation is? And when that happens, I would say yes in that division and the way it sits right now. And I think the Bills are still the favorite, but certainly, wouldn't be surprised if the Jets push the Bills a little bit.
Yeah, I think the Jets on paper look like a really good team, a really interesting team. I still wonder what the Jets, in fact, if they do get Rodgers, what the Jets are going to have to give up to get him. I don't think it'll be a ton of draft picks like we would have gotten as a Packer fan or a Packer organization years ago. It won't be that. But there could be players that have to move. There still could be players the Jets will have to reduce to cap casualties if they bring Rodgers on, even if he does restructure a deal. So many things the Jets right now are doing that are on hopes and wishes. And this is where I think the Jets, and Matt and I were talking about where they're at with the respect of a fan base. This is where I feel like the Jets are just such a lackluster organization that they have to be this desperate, this thirsty to try to go all in for an aging quarterback. And no disrespect, Rodgers has had a great career, past tense, but he's a quarterback that can't beat the Lions at home. He can't win a game versus San Francisco at home. He can't beat 46-year-old Tom Brady at home. I just don't know what the Jets hope to get out of this other than possibly some immediate success in the regular season. Matt, I know this sounds crazy. I just don't believe in Rodgers anymore. I know he's a talented quarterback. I just don't think he gets you anywhere. He's not the all-in guy that you would probably need to be able to lead this franchise. That's why I still think the Bills are the better team in that division, but the Jets are going to be right there. I mean, if Rodgers does play there, they should be right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're the Jets at this point, to speak of like that franchise, at this point, don't they have to? Like aren't they just, I feel like they just have to now. I mean, you just let everything.
Jackson then.
Right, like you got to go after Lamar Jackson, and who knows what that's going to cost. But like you painted yourself into a corner. You're letting these guys go there unless they trade up in the draft to try to draft another quarterback, which you just failed. What was it? What are we, 2 years out or 3 years out on Wilson?
Yeah.
However long it is, I mean, you failed massively on that pick, and I mean, people at the time thought that about Zach Wilson. So like, this isn't like a surprise, and so like I feel like the Jets now have just painted themselves into a corner now where you have to find a way to get this done, and like you said, you got to figure out a way to restructure. I think Aaron Rodgers, as we know from being in Wisconsin, that guy wants his little pieces around him. He wants to be comfortable, and sure as heck, what do you see this morning? Lazard is now all of a sudden on their list, right? And who knows? Randall Cobb will probably be there next year too, and he needs his comfort. So it's kind of it's going to be a mess. And I think this thing's going to take some time to figure out all these, to make both sides happy. And man, if you're Green Bay and if you can just get a number one for it, and they take out a big part of this contract, sure, be done with that guy. And because that's all he is. He's just a headache. I just think it's so hard to build a football team in Green Bay around that guy. It has been over the last 3 years, and it's kind of nice to see Murphy and the other guys just say, we're done. They're not even trying to use leverage. They're not even trying anymore. We're done. Get rid of this guy.
They asked him, Mark Murphy, at a WIAA state girls playoff game, hey, do you see anything that would bring Rodgers back? Oh, if everything works out real shitty for us, yeah, I guess we could bring him back if we had to. I mean, the guy just won't go away. And, Brett Favre, the Packers were trying desperately to keep Aaron Rodgers. They're just like, get out of here. Just get out of here.
That's what he's created. He's done it to himself.
Yeah, he has. All right, Matt, before we let you go, I think Matt's got one more thing for you, big guy.
Yeah, Coach, I got one for you. I'm going to get off the NFL talk. Obviously, a big congratulations to UWL here over the weekend, and you got this trip coming up. So I was just wondering what the vibe was like on campus with the men's and women's indoor track win championships, and what's it like on campus this week?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The only issue is it's quiet because everybody's gone. You know what I mean? It's great. I think 3/4 of our team is in Panama City right now, and so like it's a little quiet. They got back. When did they get back? Sunday afternoon. And so like the campus has kind of been empty. And, I just saw Coach Davis kind of just pull up here. And, but yeah, it's been kind of quiet. So I'm hoping when everybody kind of gets back, because you're right. There's a lot to celebrate on our campus and within our athletic department, not just with both of our track teams winning national titles, but also, we got a national champion in wrestling, and the wrestling team finished 5th at nationals. So a lot to be excited about. Good kind of wrap up to the winter season here. And now it's crazy to think about. It's crazy because our softball team's going right now. Our baseball team's going right now. Lacrosse is going. It's just like, whoa, we just switched gears into spring.
It's fast paced, and I know my good buddy Ethan Geezy, who was the pitching coach for the UW softball team, is just having a great time. I don't know if they're all in Arizona right now, but I know that he went down to AZ at least for a little bit. So yeah, big time stuff with UW. And on your coaching staff, as a matter of fact, I'm following one of your assistant coaches, Kelly Klein, I believe it is, and she's been helping out with She's a female football coach that's doing some really important work across a number of different platforms and going to help out colleges, I think, with some of their coaching and protocols. So it's a really good time to be an Eagle right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, Coach Klein is our assistant linebacker coach, and she was just at Brown University.
Is that what it was? Brown University?
Yep. So the Brown's quarterback coach is the first, and I don't know if she's the only, but she was the first full-time college football coach. And so she coaches quarterbacks there. And so this coach put on essentially a women's, like kind of a women's forum. And so Coach Brown went out there, and I think she had about 15 other coaches from across the country. And I know she kind of talked ball. She got taken a few practices because they've already started practice. I know she installed our defense to their defensive staff. Like the whole staff at Brown. So yeah, pretty cool opportunity for her as she continues to, and she's still very young, as she continues to kind of get her foot in the door with college coaching.
That's awesome. Well, like I say, it's a good time to be an Eagle, and we're sure glad to have you a part of the program, man. It's great talking to you this morning. Congratulations as a collective of Bear fans for not fucking this thing up and trying to take somebody like
not yet, at
10 and a half with the first overall pick or something like that. That would have been just the worst thing ever. So well played, Bear fans, and go Eagles. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Go Eagles. Preferred Insurance is the official auto, home, business, flood, and life insurance agency of the Sports Carnival, serving folks in La Crosse and surrounding areas with licenses in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. As an independent insurance agency, Preferred Insurance is free to find the very best insurance for you, your family, or your business needs. Call my friends at Preferred Insurance today and set up a free consultation. Remember, working with an independent agency means Preferred Insurance works for you, with you, to find the best solutions at the best prices. Wow, my commercial didn't play after. I was like, where's Don Francisco's? Damn it. Maybe it's in my coffee cup. Either way, welcome back, Sports Carnival, broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studio, powered by the Recovery Room. Thanks to our good friends at Preferred Insurance, Tony Rousa, Brian Sandmeyer, for being part of the program. Sean O'Neill, the O'Neill Law Firm, downtown La Crosse, King on 5th Street. Bankruptcy, criminal, family matters. Sean O'Neill's my guy. He should be your guy. Joe Sampson, Helping Hands Landscaping. I saw him checking in with us on one of our Facebook group page posts the other day. You've got grass needs coming up soon, maybe some dog poop removal. Maybe Nash should give him a call. I know that we only have our little teeny area, so Joe would probably charge us like $3.50, but maybe Nash should give him a call. Be like, Joe, there's a whole bunch of dog poop down here, and I can't pick it up, or I'm going to throw up.
I don't know if Nash could even, I got to let that one go, because I don't even know if Nash would get up early enough in the morning to call him. So.
Hey, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to not throw up at dog poop if your name is Nash. And I don't know what time you'd have to get up. Nash would probably have to stay up to not throw up.
Now's the best time to go pick it up, unfortunately, because it's snow, so it's frozen. In the summertime, it gets a little stinky.
Yeah, that's just don't, anyways, I take Leo on the walk. Yep. This is what I do. He's been a good boy since he was like maybe 6 months old, to where he will poop in the area if he has to, right? Like if he absolutely has to, he will. Otherwise, he wants to get out on the walk.
Mayhem shit in the middle of the street the other day.
No kidding.
Yeah, Ashley had to pick it up in the middle of the street. Yeah, stop traffic.
Oh, interesting. It was
great. Yeah.
This guy's done that. My dog's done that once or twice before, but it was when he was a real little guy, and he was sort of just getting used to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But normally he's got his routine. He wants me to walk him about 2 miles. At a certain point, he has a general area.
It gives you a look.
It's near Cass Street. I will just let you know it's near Cass Street, where some of the beautiful homes. I think Leo just sees these mansions of Gilded Age and looks up and is so in awe. He loses himself. Right now, maybe he actually feels like he's at home. That's his comfort spot. I don't know.
It's just trying to find that one big yard, because unfortunately, obviously, after you had moved down here, you didn't have the same size yard. So maybe he's just jealous of the yard.
Maybe he's having a good time shitting on city streets, though. And that's the great thing. We've got, somebody's yard and then the city part, and then you can just pick it up. And thankfully, Viterbo and a lot of the areas around us have put so many trash cans out because they're trying to help avoid littering.
If only the rest of the people that have dogs in this neighborhood could do the same that we do, and just a little more respectful for, other people's property.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And themselves, that'd be nice if they had some self-respect. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. All right. So poll question on our YouTube page. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can take it on our Twitter feed, and our Facebook group page this morning is this. if and slash when the Jets, because it really is when most likely, but if slash when the Jets trade for Rodgers, who will be the favorite team in the AFC East? We're getting a ton of action on this thing. Our Twitter feed's near 100 votes. 43.2% of respondents so far have the Bills. 42.1% are the Jets. 13% are for the Dolphins. 2% for the Patriots. Again, getting no love for the Patriots. Checking out our Facebook group page, it was 76% of respondents on our first look, initial blush, had the Bills over the Jets by a wide margin. That's holding right now. We've got 77% of voters still having the Bills being the team to beat, the favorite in the AFC East. The Patriots still getting 1%. The Dolphins and Jets tied at 11% right now. I'm with Matt Janus on not being sold on Tua. As a matter of fact, and I don't know if you heard these takes years ago when Tua was coming out of the draft, but I used to talk about it quite a bit with Mike Schmidt, who we'll talk to tomorrow, and pretty much everybody that I could get to listen to me. I told them that Tua was going to be bad in the NFL. I just thought this dude playing behind the offensive line that he played with, playing with the wide receivers that he played with. I mean, we're talking about top 10 wide receiver picks, top 5 offensive linemen. Tua was playing with the most protection on the best team that there was. And when you've got 5 seconds to throw a football to number 1 wide receivers, it's really hard to tell how good you are. It really is. He was also small. He was also injury prone at the time, Matt. So when Matt Janus says that he's not ready to buy into Tua yet, I completely agree with that. The thing about the Dolphins that I thought was impressive, which is why I think they could be more dangerous than maybe we even give them credit for, was this. Who was that quarterback of theirs that nearly beat the Bills in the postseason, right? Like, or in the end of the regular season? Who was that guy? Skyler? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And that's my point.
Yep.
Because
Skyler Moore or something like that. Yeah.
That guy, whoever that guy was, with the weapons that Miami has, the defense that they do have.
McDaniels is a good coach.
He's a very good coach. That guy was able to nearly outduel Josh Allen, right? So that guy, whoever it is, Mike White could be that guy.
And their defense just got better too.
Absolutely. Now, the Xavier Rhodes thing is a real interesting sort of a topic. When Matt brought up, what are the Dolphins going to do with Xavier Rhodes? It made me think of the Bears, because the Bears could easily trade with the Dolphins for that kind of player. I'm not saying they'll make that particular trade, but they could easily trade for that kind of player and bring him aboard, because they've got plenty of cap space to absorb this. I don't think the Bears are done by a long shot. I mean, not a long shot. They are going to look to rework this team almost completely and entirely, save for Justin Fields, Cole Kmet, like we talked about, the tight end. David Montgomery, I still think, is a running back who's got some wheels left on.
I would like them to re-sign them. That'd be nice if the Bears would re-sign him. He's a free agent.
Is he still a free agent?
He's a free agent.
They'll probably work something out. Montgomery catches the ball well out of the backfield, and he's a decent running back. He really is. He's a decent running back.
There's numbers coming in right now. Jalen Ramsey just redid his deal, so I don't have it all set up. So he's actually moving some money around to save the Dolphins some money.
Good for him.
We'll see what happens there going forward as well.
Good for him. Hey, that's a smart thing to do. Speaking of smart things to do, get your Katukas down to the Recov. Get yourself a bracket. Get into our bracket challenge. Just $10. We're going to make this thing a big giveaway once we get to the championship. I did talk to Matty Ice about a tiebreaker. All right. If in fact we get a tiebreaker, which there probably won't be any ties on brackets, but if we have to go tiebreaker, it will be the total points scored in the final game.
Yep.
Okay. So then we'll be choosing on that.
Yep.
But you come on down, you fill out your bracket, $10, you get yourself into the running. By the way, Recov opened at 11 this morning. You can also get some great food, some great drinks. But get yourself down to the Recov and fill out the bracket. Now, also, if you're going to be a smarty pants, go to betus.com. Another one of the partners here of the Sports Carnival. Enter promo code CARNIVAL. When you sign up to make your initial deposit, you'll get 125% free play match on your initial deposit. So again, be smart. Get yourself down to the Recov. Get your bracket. Fill it out. $10 in the pot. And then, of course, go to betus.com and get yourself on that 125% free play money tip. That's just, again, free money that's hanging out there. Eric from La Crescent checking back in and saying, true, DC always thought Tua was a product of the Bama system. I did.
The same thing about Mac Jones with the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Yep, not good.
Listen, Mac Jones's ceiling and his floor were exactly the same coming into the league. He was as good as he was going to ever be in his rookie year, and I think we saw that. Eric from La Crescent said, same story with Bryce. In his opinion, I agree with that again. I really do. I think that Bryce Young might be a little better because this year, Bryce Young doesn't have a number or a first-round pick playing offensive lineman. He doesn't have a first-round pick playing wide receiver. But Bryce Young is too small. I wouldn't draft him number 1 at all. I mean, think about it. As great as Russell Wilson has been in his career, 3rd-round pick. Okay, Kyler Murray, number 1 pick. How's that working out?
Not very good.
Not very good. And Foreman, you're right. Xavier Howard. We meant Xavier Howard. Good call. Good call. All right, guys and gals, well done today. This was fun. Really glad to have everybody aboard the Sports Carnival. Again, Matt, we're only one Stacks Family Farms gummy into our Aaron Rodgers game. We didn't play the game as true to the rules as we did last week. But get yourself some Stacks Family Farms gummies. Where? At the Recub. We'll see you guys here tomorrow. Mike Schmidt will join the show at 8:30. Peace.